Hello and welcome. We're here, episode 28 of Voorhees Tiger Vision. Um, we're here with the head coach of Voorhees. I got to get used to saying Voorhees University.
It's got a good ring to it, man.
Yeah, I'm rehearsing. I'm trying to get there, but head coach Cabral Huff of Voorhees University, men's basketball coach. Um, good to see you. Number one, how's everything going? How you doing?
Uh, it's a process, man. It's a process. Obviously, with everything that went on in our program, it's a process. Um, get better every day, man. Get better every day. Um, so I want to just take this moment, as we're opening up our show to have that little moment of silence, man, for the life, the career, just everything of our former player, Khalil Cuffy. So if everyone listening and everyone involved could just take a moment of silence for Khalil Cuffy.
Coach, for sure. Every life that we lose is especially this early for this young man is one um, that is gone too soon. So um, definitely want to say that to all of our young people out there. Reach out, make sure you get the help that you need. Um, Try to stay safe to everybody out there. We understand, especially with the events that just happened in
Yeah.
Texas, that's not always possible. We're doing everyday things, and people are losing their lives. But do your best to stay safe. Reach out um, when you need help, or just when you maybe not be feeling your best. And also check on your friends, check on
Yeah.
your loved ones, call, reach out and check in because you never know when your strong friend may be in need of some assistance or just to know that people are checking in on them. So
It's briefly kind of going to it as obviously the what went down yesterday and obviously went down with Khalil. Um, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do, but we do need policy. We need change. We need thoughts and we need prayers. I don't think we can have policy and change without the thoughts and prayers. I don't think we can have thoughts and prayers without the policy and change, um, because Khalil was a victim of gun violence as well. So
mm,
um, we just we need those things, man. We need those four things: policy, change, thoughts, and prayers, so we can make a change, so we can be the change. And it's kind of something that we talk about here at Voorhees. We just want to be the change, and we're prayerful that we can be the change and continue to be that for Khalil, his family, and everybody else in our program. You know, I had the opportunity to talk to him before he died that same day. And although that was tough, it does give you some sense of solace that you had a chance to talk to him that one last time. Um, so just hug your loved ones, tell them you love them. Reach out to somebody, reach out to a brother, sister, whether they're in your family or not, and just let them know you care. Let them know you care.
that is for sure. Um, I would agree on the need for policy change. Although I feel like right now we're going the other way.
Yeah,
Um, I don't pretend to know everything that goes into the way that we think. When I say we, I'm speaking of America at large. I consider myself a very proud American citizen. So when I say we, I encompass all the decisions that we make, even the ones that I don't particularly agree with. But it seems like we're making the access to guns and ammunition more accessible, and not less accessible. And um, I think those of us who work with kids understand um, how easily it can be for someone to make a mistake.
Correct.
I think we are very aware of that when it comes to motor vehicles, which is why you know uh, you could go off and fight for the country in the military, but not purchase a beer from the gas station, because people don't want you to get behind the wheel of a car while impaired. And we have no issues with seeing the threat in that. I'm I gotta confess, and I'm trying to be careful with my words and make sure I articulate it correctly. I'm a little bit confused as to why we can see the danger in a motor vehicle, but not in a weapon that its only intent is to take away life. Um, so I'm a little confused as to why there are more restrictions around something that its sole purpose is just to get you from point A to point B. It can have, if handled the wrong way, have a negative impact on human life, but that is not its intent. And I say that being vehicles, right? But very little restriction around a thing that was solely invented to take away a human's life. I'm I hope I am not just asking those questions blindly here on this platform. I am asking that question to people who I consider to be way more educated from a policy standpoint than I am, who work in that political space. I just haven't gotten great answers. I hope someone can educate me as to just the common sense thinking behind that idea.
I
Um,
would agree. I would agree, brother.
uh, because this is not good and it's impacting us where we live. For those that are just following, the laws in Georgia have just recently changed to where you no longer need a license to purchase a firearm. 18, purchase wherever you want. So, God bless to Khalil Cuffy's family, everybody who's involved. God bless to Langston Hughes, Coach Welsh, to you know that Langston Hughes family, which is a very tight knit group in that community. Um, Thoughts and prayers also to, of course, uh, Coach Coach Williams, and everybody else at Voorhees that was impacted. So, um, man, uh, Coach, not sure how we even move on from that
Right.
one. Um, we'll attempt to do so. Um, we get a special opportunity today, Coach, to allow people to get to know um, the future of the program.
Hmm.
And I believe every one of these young men represent that, but
Yep.
especially in this incoming recruiting class, they'll be able to get to know these guys on a more personal level. We feel like this has been a platform to do that. We've had a couple players on before, but we've got a special young man lined up to represent and be on with us today. Coach, tell us about the player that we get an opportunity to meet.
Well, it's the player that will be coming to us from the furthest place away, to little old Denmark, South Carolina. So we're happy to have 6'7" Ford Malachi Scott from California could join us today. And hope he's ready for your questions.
I'm gonna bring Malachi in, and just so you know, Malachi, I'm gonna be tough on you, man. Just right away, we're gonna press full court. It's gonna be diamond press right off the top. Here we go. Let's bring him on.
Man, I'm ready for all the questions, man. I've been doing this for a while.
So
it ain't nothing.
Malachi, let's let everybody get a chance to meet you, man. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you from, how you grew up, and when you started playing the game.
All right, what's up, y'all? My name is Malachi Scott. Born in Coffeyville, Kansas. When I was 5, I moved to Cali, Compton, California, through the foster system. Been in it since I was 5. Always been a struggle living in the foster system. Not having that good support from a real family. Also, living in Compton, where you're going to lose a brother or two every year, no matter how old you are. It's been happening every year. You never know which one of your friends is going to be next. But just, coming from that, I started playing football when I was 5, never picked up a basketball, never wanted to. I just felt like it was too soft. I always wanted to just get down and dirty, had a little bit of an attitude problem. So from the start, I'm like, man, if I'm going to use my attitude, might as well go hit somebody with it and get a scholarship. So I started getting really good at that, playing it and playing it. God bless me. I hit 6'1" when I was an 8th grader. And I was like, this could take me a long way. You never know. Then they started, Malachi, basketball. But I was still like, nah, all right, let me go to high school, try football out, see what it is, see what I could do. Still not having that good support system and everything that I love. I'm like, I just want to keep taking football and see what it takes me. By the time my sophomore year, I hit 6'5". I got, looked at from a lot of people. My main mentor right now, Meta World Peace. I played at a little foster care game. He came over, talked to me and said, you pick up a basketball, make sure you get it right, make sure you get to the right places, make sure you get all your situation handled. You just got to listen to me. Just listen. So I said, all right, why not? So I ended up transferring from Long Beach Jordan High School to Compton High School my junior year, where I finally picked up a basketball. Was under the coach, Tony Thomas. He also coached DeMar DeRozan when he was in high school. From there, I met DeMar. He told me, showed me the route, how you can make it out, pushing your own weight. Learn from Meta World Peace. He told me a lot, started having me go with pros and everything. And from there, basketball took me a long way. A lot of people don't understand that, it's more than just picking up a basketball. You meet a family. You meet people that want to help you 24/7. Because as long as they see potential in you, they're going to want to help you no matter what. So, I've been blessed to just keep doing what I got to do. I also met Dr. Teresa Price from the Black College Expo. She runs it. This year I didn't have a lot of offers. Me and my coach was back and forth because of the way he was playing me. I never had a chance to really shine. Went to the Black College Expo, played against some of the top recruits, top junior college recruits in Cali. Went out there, did my thing. First day, Coach Huff came up to me and said, hey, he wanted me. So why not go somewhere where you wanted and somewhere that they're going to show you the love? After only 2 years of basketball, it's just a blessing to even get a scholarship where a lot of kids been playing since they was 5. And, they probably even stopped playing because they didn't even get an opportunity to do it. So for this, I want to keep showing my potential and keep just branching off what I got and just, keep progressing.
It's an amazing story. That's an amazing story. What are your thoughts on the game so far? Being, playing for 2 years, like what are some of the things that you felt like that you learned that you liked about the game?
Well, I always use my hustle since football. One of my favorite players, really crazy but really fun to even watch, Dennis Rodman. As soon as I looked at him, his hustle 110%. He just want to rebound, just want to play. Then after, he can go have all the fun he wants to, as long as he's doing what he loves. Once I started watching people like that, seeing how they work hard, seeing they came from nothing, seeing they never had nothing, but they push into a bigger goal, that really brought me somewhere. I might, my fundamentals and everything might not be as keen as everybody else. My handles might not be as sharp, but when it comes to getting up and down the court, dunking on somebody, blocking shots, playing defense, getting a steal, making sure my boy's scoring down the other end while I'm blocking a shot on this end, it all came together. So from that, I just learned basketball is something that you really got to focus on, because it's not just like football. We can just bounce positions nowadays. You got to really sharpen your game so that you could be able to play against anybody at any time.
If I'm gonna ask you this, we talk a lot about this, and everybody feels differently about this, especially guys that came up in our era. But Coach, having a motor or playing hard is now an attribute or a skill where it used to be a prerequisite. Having high motor guys is now a attribute for your team. What was it that you saw in Malachi at that expo that made you feel like, hey, we really gotta go offer this kid right away?
It was obviously starting off number one was that motor. Just watching him play the game and how hard he was going. And obviously, people say, well, it was a opportunity in front of coaches. Kids should be playing hard. Well, that's not always the case, right?
It is not.
So he was playing hard. You add to the fact of his length and athleticism, which obviously we like. He may downplay his skill, but I think he's really skilled for what he can do at 6'7". And then his potential. Like, we didn't see just where he was currently, or I didn't see just where he was currently. I saw where he could go next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and what he could become. And at that point, when I saw him, I knew nothing about it. He had only played basketball for 2 years. Like, I saw the player on the court and said, this kid can really help us. This kid has potential to be really good. And it's just what I told him from that day I saw him. And I didn't mince my words, and I didn't change up, after I left California and said, well, I really didn't mean that then. No, that was the same thing I've told him from day one to right now. And we still believe that, him along with those other 4 freshmen that we're bringing in, we think the potential for them is the sky's the limit for them. And then you add to what we already have on our roster and what we'll talk about later after Malachi is done with what else we're bringing in. And we're really excited about what the potential of this Voorhees Tigers team 2022, 2023 will become.
Got to keep that same energy. I like it, Huff. So we got some questions coming in. This is from Coach Jay. His question is, what do you feel like you want to improve on the most in your freshman year on and off the floor?
I really just want to get down on the way I handle things, and when it comes to pressure, I've always been an under pressure guy. I had to learn how to, when it's not pressure on, that I can still go 110%, where it's not, they don't got to rely on me. Basically, everything that comes down, I could be able to keen on everything and be able to go 110%, 24/7, not just when we need it. On the court, obviously, I don't have the best fundamentals as a 6'7" forward, but if my fundamentals, everything get down, my future is really bright. So it's, I already have the 110%, already have the height that a lot of people don't got. It's a blessing to even go 110% because nowadays everybody want to be flashy and run around, don't want to get hurt. If you're not having a cut in game or after every game, you're not playing right. But that don't mean you're trying to get down and dirty. And ever since I've been playing basketball, I had a cut on my face. I even have a cut on my forehead now, and that was from Sky Zone basketball. So I know every time I want to play, I'm going to make sure they feel me, make sure they remember who y'all playing against. But that's basically it. Fundamentals, off the court. I just want to help my community, coming from Compton and being a foster kid. A lot of kids are from Compton or are foster kids with no help, no support system, where sometimes they'll be really good at sports and they'll not have that support system to back them up, that they'll be at home nowadays and don't want to pick up a basketball or don't want to do something, don't want to strive for greatness. They might end up just picking up a 9-to-5 working at McDonald's because they're not that support system they have. Everybody has potential in life. Everybody has something they're meant for. They just got to find out what it is. And if they have that support system, they can be able to do what they want.
That's awesome. Coach, you kind of let it out for this year that toughness was an area that you wanted to improve on this team. Mental toughness and physical toughness. Just tell us. I mean, I can certainly hear it in Malachi's story, but just tell us your thoughts on Malachi being able to upgrade us in that area when it comes to mental and physical toughness.
I mean, I just think when you think about his background, number one, and what he's able to overcome, what he's already overcome right now at his age, just right now, that shows the mental toughness of being able to persevere, to find a way to get through and get to the obstacle, get through the obstacle and get to, the pinnacle of where you're trying to go. That's a mental toughness that we want to exhibit on our team. And he's an example of that. And then you talk about the physical toughness. There's something to be said about guys who played a little football. I always say you get some guys that play a little football on your team, they bring a little ruggedness to you, right? And he does that. He plays that way. He plays, fast, strong, not backing down from anything. He's going to try to go get every rebound. He's going to try to block every shot he can. And so those are the things that we were looking for, not just in him, but in all the guys we were bringing in. Did they bring that toughness on the floor? And that toughness, a lot of times, is that refusing to lose. You look at that St. Peter's team in the NCAA tournament, and I know they made a comment about, they were just some guys from New York, New Jersey. I don't think just New Jersey and New York guys are tough. I think they're tough guys all across the United States of America. And it's my job, it's Coach Williams' job, it's Coach Bradford's job for us to go find those guys all around and bring them to little old Denmark, South Carolina, with the opportunity to get better here, to be a star in their role here, whatever that role is.
I will say this, Malachi. Go to the fried chicken spot and enjoy yourself, my man. Great food. Great food.
I'll make sure to go, man.
So I want to happiness. I always tell my players happiness is a function of expectation. As long as the results meet what your expectation is, you'll be happy. What do you feel your expectations are in year one at Voorhees University?
I'm never satisfied. So that's one thing about me. When you can always get so far, but I feel like, if you have potential and you're able to keep pushing yourself and develop, there's no way you can't just keep going and keep going. That's what a lot of people don't understand. They get to a certain point where they be like, all right, I could stall off, I could chill, I'm getting better at basketball. I'm one of the top players in the nation now. But nowadays you can be a top player in the nation and be working at McDonald's in 2 years. That's what a lot of people don't understand. You can get to a certain peak, but you got to learn how to get past the peak. And I feel like me coming in, I want to be the best, and I'm going to be the best. I'm a manifester regardless. I don't care who's coming in. Me just turning 18, I don't care if you're 36, you're 26, you prime. If you even an NBA player, you step in that gym, I'm going to show the same intensity and I'm going to show the same toughness I got. Because, coming from where I'm from, that's what they play at. If you go to the park, little kids running up and down playing against grown men, and that's what I grew up doing. Because no matter what, you're going to have to show toughness. So me coming in year one, I'm going to be the best, and I'm going to be the best. That all city, that all year, that MVP, that getting that ring in the first year I'm coming into college, that's going to be me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, Coach, we got it done. We got it done. I love this class. There is a sense of expectation with this team. I think with last year's class, and now with this year's class coming in, there is a sense of expectation. Huff, we talked about this off air, and I'll bring it up. You came into Voorhees known as being a guard whisperer, so to speak, with your success with developing guards and teaching them how to play in space. But here lately, you've done a pretty outstanding job of developing big men, yourself and your staff. You've got some incredible talent and size coming in and length coming in. What has it been like of showing the big some love and showing, hey, I can develop low post players as well as I can develop perimeter players?
Well, I think part of that goes to the change in the game, to be honest with you. Not saying that before throwing it down into the post and just letting the guy work wasn't something that we did. It was. But I think what you're seeing now, how many guys in the NBA do they throw it down into the post and say, go to work? I mean, Embiid, I'm waiting on another one. I don't really know another one that they just throw it down in the post to, right? And he doesn't stay in the post all the time. So I think even as early as 2010, I was talking about every player on my team being able to dribble, pass, and shoot. And so that's just carried over to now, and you're seeing the evolution of that with the bigs that we've been having now of how they can get better. But I also want to give credit to Coach Jay and the work he puts in with our bigs every day. And whether it was the development of Amari Joseph last year, I mean, if you saw what he came in as, and this is no disrespect to him, but just his body changed. He changed. Fred Spells, Troy McCant, Julius Phillips. You know, those are guys that you can look at and say, man, the development is there. You can see everything about it and how they got better. And we're going to see the same thing with Malachi. His body's going to change from this time or when he gets here, July 17th, to when we look back a year later, July 17th, and say, man, do you see the change in his body? And that's without a on staff, so to speak, paid staff member spot that just does strength and conditioning. We know all of us on our staff know how to get it done. And Coach Roundtree, who helps with the women's program and ours, he gets our guys better, man. And that's one thing Malachi's gonna find out. And with our new renovated state-of-the-art weight room, they don't have a choice but to get better. They don't have a choice but to get better.
Love it. I love it. I personally like to look in the mirror, man, when I'm lifting. So Malachi, we'll end it here, but tell us maybe a couple players that you look up to or want to model your game after, or maybe some of your favorite players. I know you mentioned Dennis Rodman, but if there's any other players that you currently look up to and kind of try to model your game after.
Dennis Rodman for one, because he showed me a lot. Players like John Wall, J.R. Smith coming from the hood, being able to go out there and show them everything they got, be able to keep, going stronger. That's Darren Williams. He was another underrated guard that hooped that everybody forgot about, but when he got down and dirty, they know who he was.
For sure.
And then you got the superstars like Giannis, he goes up every time, being physical, trying to knock somebody in their mouth, as well as Joel Embiid. One of my favorite players right now is Michael Porter Jr. A lot of people don't know that, he's not might be playing good in the NBA, but when it came to high school and college, he was a monster. My favorite player all time, LeBron, getting out there, no matter how many times they're going to hate on him, how many times they're going to talk mess about him, you're going to get out there, do what he has to do, and prove that he is one of the best of all time. And then just imagine Coach Huff, Kaiser Gates. He went out there and did his thing, and he looked like me.
Hey, you've done your homework. You've done your hey, Huff, it's not very often we could talk to a young kid that speaks so fluently about those types of names. You talking about Darren Williams, right? We remember what he was, Coach. Right. Like, and we respect Darren Williams because I remember when he was the best player in college basketball.
Man.
So my Louisville Cardinals lost the Final Four to Illinois, so I'm painfully aware of how good he was. But we definitely remember those types of players. And shout out to J.R. Smith, who is back in school at a HBCU and locked in at 4.0. Malachi, I hope you have the same academic success that J.R. Smith is having at A&T.
I got a 3.8 right now, so hopefully I can take it over.
Let them know, Malachi. Let them know what you had.
I got a 3.8, man. So hopefully I can bring it up.
Let's get it. I love it. Malachi, I definitely appreciate having you on. Oh, man, I can't leave without I don't know if we can drop this, if this is just secret off mic stuff or not, but
he can drop it.
Yeah.
You working on a big project, man, coming up.
Yeah, I'm working on White Man Can't Jump right now. Two of the stars, Sincar and Wells, and my boy Jack Harlow. Two of the stars currently. A lot of other famous names I can't name that's also going to be in there because the NDA, I can't even tell you what it's really about, but it's a really big project. It's not going to be coming out for a while, but we're currently working on it, and it's amazing. Showing what the old White Man Can't Jump is, and they pushing it to the new one, showing what new basketball is instead of the old one. But it's a really fun project, man. Just happy to be in it. My first audition I ever did, I got it. I auditioned for a smaller role, and they gave me a bigger role. So I'm coming in playing a nice big role. I get to show my face and have my own line and everything, doing stuff like that. And other projects also coming soon, but hopefully it doesn't battle with my basketball.
Hey, I love it.
Give me 4 years. Tell them give me 4 years.
Hey, listen, in today's environment of college sports where you got NIL and all that other kind of stuff. Hey, there's room for this.
Man,
There's room for this. They
And
can
we've
make it
been
happen.
talking about it. We've been talking about it since it started. He called me and said, "Coach, I need to tell you something."
Let's go. Let's go. Well, we definitely appreciate you taking the time to come on today. I can't wait for the movie. I love the original White Man Can't Jump, so I'm definitely going to be in line to watch part 2. That is definitely a movie that I think you can be remade. So it's a wonderful movie, but I think you can remake it. I hope they have the original cast members back on, so I'll kind of put my list out later on who I would love to see back. But yeah, man, thank you for coming in. Can't wait to come and see you play. Looking forward to seeing you on campus.
Hey, no problem, man. I just want to, thank you, Coach Huff. Thank you, Coach Jay, for believing in me, man. I'm glad to come to HBCU. It's a dream. And first year as a university, it's time to put good old Voorhees on the map, man.
Let's do it. I love it.
All right,
Let's
man.
go.
Appreciate it.
No doubt.
All right. Malachi Scott, incredible young man.
Coach. I think you can tell why we're going to love him here in Denmark, South Carolina.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, I still can't get over that list of names of players that he named. He named guys from multiple generations.
Right.
For a guy that's only played for 2 years, that tells me that he's listening to people who are imparting wisdom into him and kind of giving him game about players that he should watch. I think that's very important because, Coach, I can tell you from being a AAU coach myself, when you tell players to go watch a guy that is not a current NBA superstar, they get offended.
Yeah.
Most kids are not humble enough to I had a kid leave my team because I told him to go watch Grant Williams, and that's who he needed to pattern his game after. I'm like, he's playing well in the playoffs. Like, what are we talking about?
He's in the NBA. Forget he's playing. I don't care. Like,
in the NBA, 100%. And most kids don't understand. So when I see him talk about, Dennis Rodman and Darren Williams, and you know what I mean, the level of the variance of guys, but their style of play and how they play the game,
and why they, even though he was, at 6'7", sometimes you say, man, this 6'7" kid is mentioning a guard, but he mentioned the John Walls, because they came from where he came from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There was a reason why he mentioned them. Not just they could play, but like he sees that if they could get out, I can too.
They were also, he didn't mention little jitterbug guards. He mentioned 2 big physical guards, which lines up with how he wants to play the game.
Right.
So I even looked at it from that standpoint. Of course, Embiid and Giannis, every young player should be able to watch those guys and pick up something. But I thought that was tremendous.
But he does favor Kaiser Gates, though.
He does. He does. He does. Shout out to Kaiser, man. I hope I get a chance to go out and watch Summer League and get a chance to see Kaiser. I hope Kobe plays Summer League.
We always talk about Malik because obviously you can see him on TV every night. Mm-hmm. Kobe and Kaiser had great seasons overseas. Kobe won the championship with his team, and you go on IG, you can see Kaiser. They won a lot of games. Him interacting with the fans over in Israel, so it was big for both of those guys, man, to do what they're able to do. Because people just think when you talk about going to play pro, that's just the NBA or G League. There's so much more than that. And our guy Taiwan Bowie is getting a little bit of that now. As people are reaching out to him to go play, to see if he's interested in going to play for opportunity overseas.
Tremendous. Incredible. Coach, it seems like everything is starting to come together for this group with getting these guys on. Let's tell us some of the dates for the summer. When will these guys be able to get on campus, and when will we be able to see the team and everybody being together?
Freshmen to get a chance with our new Tiger transition that they just are starting back up. They'll be on campus starting July 17th. So we'll get those guys a little bit earlier. Our transfers, if you're not a freshman, then they'll get on campus August 6th. And then the rest of the guys will return August 12th. Even though we do have a few guys here for summer. So those guys that are here for summer will obviously interact with the guys who are coming in new. So that's a great thing, man. You get the opportunity for them to start getting in the weight room early, start getting in the gym early. So we're really excited about that, because I think what most people don't realize is that we're now going into year 3. But after we won the championship, due to COVID, all our classes were online. So last spring and summer, we didn't have opportunity to get our guys better with us. Now, we sent them stuff to do where they were, but it's a lot different when you got your guys on campus and you can able to get those guys in the weight room. You're able to, have those guys put up shots in their own gym or get in and work with them. And we were just excited about that this spring, and then even going into the summer with the guys here who will be at summer school.
For sure. I love the guys that go to summer school, man. Like knock as much of that stuff out as you can, man. Like,
hey,
get to it.
Yes. I was never a summer school guy, but hey.
It was something that I learned later on in my college experience.
Right.
From somebody that I looked up to, and he was like, man, some of these classes you gotta take during the kids. I don't work for the school system, so I'll let you in on a little secret. Sometimes college classes in the summer, depending on what class you take, can be a little easier than it is during the semester. There's a strategic way that you can take certain classes during the summer. A little stress out, especially you're not in season, you don't have practice every day, your body's not as worn down. Little tidbit that I got from somebody who ended up being a pro. I'll leave his name off. But he used to get it in the summer. Lots of classes in the gym, working, getting it in. But shout out to those guys that stayed during the summer. And why you want to go home? What are you going to do? Coach, we've got a lot going on just in basketball, period. We'll get to, before we close, we'll get to updates on Summer Explosion, and of course we've got some new Voorhees Tigers to introduce. But I do want to talk a little bit basketball with you as well. Both of our teams are out of the NBA playoffs, so we don't have a lot to discuss on that front. But there is some things going on there. Over previous summers, there's been a lot of conversation, and I still feel like we're still getting some good traction and movement around supporting HBCU athletics.
Mm-hmm.
Just this past year, we saw a branding and apparel deal between FAMU and LeBron James. We see Chris Paul involved supporting HBCU schools. We just mentioned J.R. Smith actually being enrolled back at A&T and bringing some awareness there. But I wanted to talk about your view from a coaching standpoint when it comes to opportunities for your team, opportunities to continue to market your players, and how we as media people are doing as far as covering HBCU athletics and really giving you guys a platform to show some of the great work and some of the things that are going on. What do you feel like, just in general, the playing field looks like right now when it comes to the media coverage that HBCU sports are getting?
I mean, it's still not the same coverage you're gonna get for your PWIs, or if I take it even further, your Division Ones.
Mm-hmm.
But it's getting better. But it's gonna take much more than just a Chris Paul showcase kind of around the All-Star game. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to take more than just some HBCU showcases. It's going to take more than, even though it was great. So I want to let me preface that all of these things are great, and it was especially great what Travis Williams did at the Final Four with the HBCU All-Star game with the Division I and Division IIs, to have that game on CBS. That was great. Shout out to Travis Williams, a Georgia guy. But I think there's more that can be done. You know, we can get more Notre Dames that travel to Howard to play a game. You know, we can get more of those things. We can get more. Can we get back to when HBCU games were on BET? You know, can we get more than just the Monday night SWAC MEAC games on ESPN or ESPN2? I don't even think it's on ESPN. I think it's ESPN2. Like, we've got to have more of that. And we've got to have people that are advocating for this for us. I mean, even if it was, you know, I think HBCU Game Day does a great job, but we've got to have more of this because, you know, there are a lot of young men, young women who want to go to HBCUs. There are a lot of people who are out there who want to learn more about HBCUs, whether they attend or not. And what better platform than to see what we have to offer? You know, just in a 30-mile radius here from Denmark, if you go to Orangeburg, we're blessed to have 3 HBCUs in a 30-mile radius. When you talk about, excuse me, 4 if you include Denmark Tech. So you're talking about Denmark Tech, you're talking about Voorhees, you're talking about Claflin, which is Division II, you're talking about South Carolina State, which is Division I. So you have 4 at all different levels. So I think there are ways we can be better at trying to make sure that our brand gets out. And part of what we try to do, and part of what I wanted to do when I got the job here at Voorhees, was how do we make this brand better? How do we make people understand and know what Voorhees, now University, is all about? Well, you do that with social media. You do what we have right here with this opportunity that you and I talked about creating a coaches podcast for us, even as a NAIA program. You get the big Division I programs, especially the high major, the mid major, who have their coaches shows every week or every 2 weeks. Well, why not we do it at an NAIA program that's an HBCU? And we get alumni, and we get players, and we get the interaction that we have, and we're able to showcase, we're able to promote, we're able to connect, we're able to network throughout this. And I think that's what we have to be better at the HBCU level, is branding our programs. If social media is out there, let's use it. Let's use it. And I know you may say, well, I don't have the staff to do it. Well, we're doing everything else. So maybe you as a head coach, or maybe your assistant, or maybe you find a grad assistant, or maybe you find a play. Somebody has to do it so we can be better. And I think more HBCUs, they're finding somebody on staff, even outside of athletics, to brand their universities and colleges better. And I think it's helping. I think it's going to help enrollment. You know, part of our job as a HBCU, as a coach, is much more than just what happens on that basketball court.
For sure.
What we do also helps enrollment. What we do also helps brand this university.
I 100% agree. And it's also an opportunity for what you just said with Taiwan Bowie looking for opportunity to play overseas. I think having games be broadcast and having the media kind of cover games and shed light on players that are deserving, which Taiwan Bowie definitely was. We talk about a player that got better and better every single year, gives them additional opportunities that maybe they wouldn't have had without that coverage. I will say this: reach out to us here at Love of the Game. We want to continue to be a help if we can. We won't always be able to do that, but we want to be a help where we can for HBCUs. For those that have kind of followed my coverage from year to year, sometimes Me opening my mouth gets me in trouble. But one thing I do feel is that I have been consistent with my backing for HBCUs and wanting to be a part of the solution instead of just talking about the problem. I feel like, and Huff, I would love your thoughts. I feel like the discussion around HBCU athletics specifically, because no one ever questions the the academic excellence from
Right.
HBCUs. No one ever questions that. Um, and I think that's amazing and something that doesn't get mentioned enough when we have these conversations. No one ever questions the academic excellence and integrity of HBCU schools. The only thing that ever gets questioned is the funding and the athletics. Um, but as we look forward to solving those problems, what I feel like happens is what happened with the conversation around AAU. A lot of people gathered around to talk about the problem, but it wasn't a lot of people stepping up to be a part of the solution. So we at Love of the Game want to be a part of the solution in any way that we possibly can. So happy to partner with Voorhees University, and this is a labor of love, and we're happy to do it and proud to be a part of it. So um but we need to continue to push and do a better job.
And I think that will be done. I think it's a process, and sometimes people want to rush the process, but we have to realize that there was a reason why HBCUs were so in the forefront previously. Number one, many African Americans weren't allowed to PWIs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Number two, there may have been a cap on how many African Americans could be on a certain team,
Mm-hmm.
right? So then, when those barriers were broke down, and recruiting just became you can recruit whoever, well, that put HBCUs a little behind because obviously I mean, Voorhees is not going to have the same amount of money that a Clemson is. I'll just use somebody in state or South Carolina or Winthrop or Wofford, can keep going down the line, or a Presbyterian, right? And so instead of using that as a crutch as to why we can't get things done, it just goes back again to one of my terms or one of my sayings: find a way. Like, instead of us always complaining, let's find a way. And as we're finding a way, maybe we find that solution or find the people that can help solve that solution, whether that's alumni, whether it's now you go out and you, like what we've done here at Voorhees, and create an athletic booster club. Well, now we can try to help supplement and do some things that haven't been done before. There are things that can be done to help, but doesn't mean it's you're not going to have to find a way and get it done starting off. So
100% agree with that. There's been a lot of conversations around NIL and even some arguments. We've seen Nick Saban and Coach Prime kind of go back and forth a little bit. But I'll say this: what people don't realize, what Coach Prime has done is incredible. I do want to shout out South Carolina State as they even up the ante and beat Jackson State in football. So what they're doing in South Carolina State is incredible as well. So I don't want to miss out anybody getting their limelight. But what Coach Prime is doing and the visibility that he's bringing to Jackson State and what he's doing for that university is incredible, because the University of Alabama and Nick Saban complaining about what they're doing when Nick Saban's operating budget just for athletics, he had 16.14 million in profit after operating expenses. His profit was higher than Coach Prime's overall budget. Coach Prime's overall budget was just 2.4 million.
yeah,
They made more in profit than he had in budget altogether. There is a huge discrepancy. And I think this is just the tip of the iceberg, because I think now, like Malachi Scott said, I'm happy to go to HBCU. I'm proud about being able to play and be a part of that HBCU experience. Now that it's becoming more than just an experience, like you said, new shot clock at Voorhees. I'm sorry, new game clock at Voorhees, new floor going down at Voorhees, state of the art weight room going in at Voorhees. Now it's starting to become just more than being a part of that experience to say that I was here. Now there are benefits athletically, again, because we've always known about the academic benefits, but athletically there are benefits, and kids are wanting to be a part of that. And now we're seeing people in power, now that is shaking the table, being upset by that. What are your thoughts on the leeway that some of these coaches are making with pushing the brand forward?
I think it's great. I think, you know, I worked in the SWAC before. I knew about Jackson State, obviously having gone to a HBCU. But how many people outside of Mississippi knew Jackson State before Coach Prime got there, right?
Very true.
So when you do that, branding creates something for your university, for your program. It makes people want to reach out to you, right? Um, I just use us as an example, and this is no disrespect. I've had people say, I never knew Voorhees existed until now. And that has nothing to do with me because they didn't know me, but they see us in our brand via social media. And I think that's what we have to continue to do. I don't care whether you're Voorhees. I don't care whether you're Morehouse College. I don't care whether you're Morris Brown, who's now getting back, being accredited. Whoever you are, if you are branded correctly, you allow people from California to New York to Florida to South and North Dakota to see who you are. And there are people everywhere who want to go to a HBCU. You know, we're blessed on our team now adding Malachi, who's from California. We've got obviously Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, Philadelphia. We've had Chicago. We've got like I said, South Carolina. So just to bring those people together on campus, and I had the opportunity, you know, going to be able, because of what we're doing, to go to California with a bunch of other HBCU coaches to recruit athletes who want to go to HBCUs. Because once you start going out west, there are HBCUs out that way. But I also had the opportunity to go to DC and do the same thing. Whereas now kids are saying it's not D1 or bust. Because they're seeing kids, number one, being able to go wherever they want to, no matter where they play, to be able to use this game to make money. But also, with this new age, and you just got to keep it real, you can be an NAIA player this year and could be a Division I player next year.
Very true. Very true. One of the positive things that came out of the transfer portal. Coach, we talked about the recruiting budget, and I love the way that you've looked at it. You've always looked at it as it is what it is. I'm recruiting nationally. How is it? And I don't, you don't have to give the secret sauce, right? The formula for Coca-Cola is still locked up in a safe, so you don't have to give anyone the formula. But just some words of encouragement to other HBCU coaches that may not feel like they have a budget to be able to get things done. I think would be vital here. So any words of encouragement for some other coaches about things that they can do to still recruit and cast a wide net?
Build relationships. Whatever state you're in, or go out in that state, because more than likely in most states you can get to where you need to go 3 hours or less. Go out. Know those high school coaches. Know those JUCO coaches. And as you cast that net and build that relationship of not just when you need them because they have a player, but period. And that means sometimes going to a gym when they may not have a player for you. That means going to an event where you walk away after a weekend and there's not a player that you can recruit or that fits your particular need that year, but you were there. So it's all about those relationships. And the last thing is have those difficult conversations with your administration so they can understand what is needed to take it to the next level, right? And while you're doing that, you've got to have a vision. I always say, no matter whether you're a business or whether you're an athletic team, you got to have a vision and a mission of how you're going to gain success. So how are you going to do that with recruiting, knowing whatever your budget is? That's a goal for you to set forth. So that relationship is number one, and then have a mission and a vision to reach your goal of success as it involves recruiting. I don't think there's in this case, I don't think there's a secret sauce. I think you've got to believe in who you are. You got to believe in the program that you're trying to build and the institution that you serve. And if those young men or young women see that, you're going to lose some recruits. You're going to lose some because maybe you can't fly out to Hutch. You're going to lose some, maybe because you can't pay for their travel in like somebody else can on an official visit. But if you do your due diligence and they see you for who you are and your program and the people around you and those players on your team for who you are, then you'll be okay with losing out on some recruits because you'll get the ones that need to be in your program. And I feel that's what we've done here at Voorhees with all our guys as we move into year 3.
For sure. Coach, let's introduce some of these new Voorhees Tigers. We got 3 additional players that are coming in that we need to introduce. So I'll start bringing these guys up one by one and just have you tell us a little bit about what we can expect.
Gotcha. First one is Tyler Willoughby, 6'3" guard from Middle Georgia State, so an NAIA transfer. We actually played him last year. He averaged 12.5 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, about 4 assists. Sometimes good things happen when you wait. I recruited this young man out of Chattahoochee Valley Community College, lost out to Middle Georgia State, and we're blessed to get him in round 2 to come be a Tiger. We think he's very tough. We think he's athletic. He can shoot the ball. His shooting percentage is not even where he wanted it to be from 3 last year. But if you go back to what he shot at the JUCO level, he shot about 44% from 3 from the JUCO level. He has experience. He has toughness, which is what we were trying to bring in at that guard wing position. When you lose somebody like Bowie, you got to bring somebody else in that can be comparable. So we're really excited about him. And he's a monster. He lives in the weight room. He's a great teammate. He's a leader. So really ecstatic to have a go-round with him after missing out on the first time.
Awesome.
And if, I'll add this. He was at Middle Georgia. He went to Chattahoochee Valley Community College, which is in Alabama. But he did play his ball at McEachern High School. So we talk about those relationships. Everything kind of falls into place.
For sure. Let's go to our next Tiger.
So, when you're going recruiting at a JUCO, you see other players and you just have your eye on them. And so Day-Day, as we call him, Day-Day Foster, 6'8", who's also from Middle Georgia State, he was at CVCC with Tyler. But at that particular time, we were only looking for a guard but you watch as you're there. And so when the opportunity came for us to try to recruit him, we were excited. He's a 6'8", skilled 4-5, which means he can play both positions. He rebounds. He can hit the 3. He has some Anthony Davis to him, except he doesn't get hurt. I know that's your team, Dre.
I knew the shot was coming. Okay.
But that's who he's comparable to. Is he has that Anthony Davis in him. And when we talked to him, he said that to us, like he grew up and he wasn't that tall at first, which is similar to Anthony Davis. So that's how he got some of those guard skills that he has. Really excited to get both of those 2 young men. Did not know it was really a package deal, to be honest with you. We got Tyler to commit on one day. Didn't even tell Day-Day that Tyler committed until the next day. And then Day-Day, when he's saying he's committing to us. And I said, Tyler committed to us too. Yeah, I knew, Coach. So, but you get a guy like Day who is, like I said, has that skill level similar to Anthony Davis, and we try to do comparisons with guys when we ask them who they compare their game to in the NBA, and it was funny he said Anthony Davis, and we kind of looked at Tyler, and I know I give the Wizards a bad name, just like I give the Lakers a bad name with Bryce, but Tyler had a little Bradley Beal to him, so
good stuff. Well, I know you love guys that can shoot. Both of those guys shoot the ball extremely well. So, welcome to the Voorhees family. Good day to be a Tiger. Here we go. We got one more.
And then last we got Isaiah Sellers. He didn't have to go far, I'll tell you that. Just right across the street from Denmark Tech. He's a South Carolina kid, 6'4". I tell kids, you never know when your opportunity is going to come. And Coach Payne and I go back from his time at Mississippi Valley as a head coach, and when I was at Alcorn State, and he's obviously the head coach at Denmark Tech, and we partner with everything. And he calls me one day and he says, Coach, are you having a workout anytime soon? I got a guy I want you to see. Wasn't able to play a lot this year because he hurt his foot, but he's healthy now. Like, he would have helped us this year. And I just want you to take a look at him. Coach, bring him over. Let us take a look at him. And as he was going through that workout, and I say this because we have high school guys or people telling high school guys, you don't have to go to a workout. They shouldn't have to work you out. Your numbers should speak for yourself. Okay, don't go to a workout that a college coach wants you to go to and see how you're going to get that offer more than likely. Because it's probably something they want to see in that workout that they haven't seen, right? And so Isaiah worked out for us, man, and his energy and his effort and what he's going to bring to the table, just with a junkyard dog mentality as an undersized guy playing, at the 4 position. We really are excited about that. You got guys with his type of energy, his type of toughness. Like, he knows he's not 6'6", 6'7", and yet he's giving them those same 6'6", 6'7" guys work, right? And so that kind of energy and effort that he's able to give, just like we talked about with Malachi, you can't pass that up. And for a guy that wants to stay here, you know what I mean? Like, we have a partnership with Denmark Tech, right? So why not give a guy an opportunity who already knows what little old Denmark, South Carolina is about?
For sure.
Right? So it really helped our team, man. And we're excited about all 3 of these young men because they're not just great basketball players. They're great young men, right? And we want guys to be we want them to be who we are. Do they have a work ethic? Do they have a character? Do they have the academics? And can they play? And all these 3 guys, just like our 5 freshmen, they all fit that.
100%. That is great to see. And I just love it when guys trust the process, continue to work, do what you have to do. If you need to go JUCO, continue to work on your game, get that experience, develop, and then look forward to your opportunity. So I love when guys actually stick to the script, keep working, keep continuing to develop, and then walk into a fantastic opportunity. Congratulations to all 3 of these guys, but congratulations to Isaiah as well. So there are more congratulations in order.
These new guys coming in, they got some shoes to fill, man. We've reached 3 straight consecutive semesters of a 3.0 GPA as a team. This past semester, we bumped it up a little bit to a 3.05. And we got one change that may actually bump it up a little bit more. But we had 9 players with a 3.3 or higher on our team this past semester, and one that finished with a 4.0. So we're just excited, man, about continuing to change the culture, continue to help them understand their student athletes, understanding that we want to win a national championship, we want to win a conference championship, but we also want to have the highest GPA of every athletic team on campus. They know my goals, and they know when I'm on them when they're not doing something right.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Congratulations to all the guys. Way to work hard in the classroom. We know how challenging it is to do that and get that done, but way to take care of business, fellas. Um, Coach, before we get out of here, we want to talk about the summer explosion
Man, woo.
coming
Excited,
up
man.
on us fast.
We almost there, man. We almost there. And we're excited about the teams. You know, we've got Clarksville, Tennessee coming in. We've got teams from South Carolina, Fox Creek, Battery Creek, Stall, Denmark, Ola. Um, Excited about those teams coming from South Carolina, Scott Branch, Swansea. So we were loving those teams from South Carolina, and obviously getting some of those teams from Georgia, the Savannah Country Days, the Athens Academy, Woodville Tompkins, Cross Creek, Grovetown, Greenbrier, Groves, Johnson out of Savannah, Jenkins out of Savannah. The list goes on. I know I'm missing somebody, so charge it to my head and not my heart if I'm missing you. Henry County, you know, a team that went to the Final Four in Georgia. So to get some of these teams that went very far in the state tournament, not only in South Carolina but in Georgia, is really big. And you know, last year we had people that jumped out on the scene on us. You know, we got a chance to see that Grovetown team early before them going to win the state championship. We got a chance to see Wade Hampton before them going to the Final Four. We got a chance to see why Cross Creek was going to be back-to-back state champions. You know, or we got a chance to see Woodville Tompkins very early and why they were going to be a Final Four team. So we always say what players and teams are going to stand out this year. You know, there are plenty of guys who played in our event who got offers, not just from us, but from other people. You know, we invite our team camp to coaches around this area in the state to be able to play at a college campus where coaches are going to be watching. And I don't say that in a bad way. But when you come to our camp, Coach Williams and myself and Coach Bradford are going to be watching. Coach Payne at Denmark Tech and his assistant, we're going to be watching. We're not putting you in some back gym and nobody's in there. No disrespect to anybody else. I mean, it is what it is. But you're gonna get watched. You're gonna get seen. And maybe it's not for us. Maybe we can reach out to somebody else and say, "This kid's pretty good. He may be better than our level, or maybe it's not what we need at that particular time." But we had a lot of kids that are going on to play at the next level that played at our event last year. And we're looking for the same. You know, each team gets 3 guaranteed games each day, shot clock games, because South Carolina is now moving to the shot clock as well. So that's why this is important. You know, and both dates are in front of big live period weekends where college coaches can be out. So our job for why we wanted to do this camp was to prepare these teams and these young men and these coaches before they get that opportunity to go to those live period camps in South Carolina and Tennessee and Georgia in both of those weekends. And so it's just an opportunity for us to recruit. It's an opportunity for us to see teams get better. I've been a high school coach. I know what June means for a high school program. If you don't think the summer matters for your high school program and you're a high school coach, then you're sadly mistaken. And then that has to carry over to why you're going to watch your players play AAU. Don't just stop it in June, coaches. Go watch your players. You will be amazed how that builds that relationship with you and your players. You know, and don't try to coach them in AAU. You can talk to them after the game. Let that AAU coach them. And when that player comes to you because he knows you're there, coach, what did you see? Then you open up and say, hey, you didn't do this and this. Because he may be a 3 for you in high school because everybody doesn't have size. And he goes to the AAU team, he's got to play point guard. So what he does for you may have to be something totally different than what he does for his AAU team. So I didn't mean to go on a little rant, but we're getting to that time. I had to speak something on it.
Very true. Also, I don't think people give us enough credit for that. A lot of times we're coaching your kid to develop him, which is different because I'm an AAU coach. I can't get fired. Right? You can't get rid of me.
Do you even know your win-loss record like for last summer?
No. I don't know my win-loss record for this summer.
Right. And that's like you're not being judged. Yes, you want to win. I want to make sure like you're competitive. You want to win every game.
Absolutely.
But you're not judged on how many games you won and lost. You're judged on how do those guys develop, and are they able to use the game of basketball to pay for their education if that's what they want to do?
To let those same coaches who may be watching know how competitive I am. I'm not proud of this, but I slam my clipboard in live period and smash it into like 3 or 4 pieces because of a bad defensive possession. We're passionate about this game.
But you had a clip.
I definitely emphasis on had, because I got to buy a new one after I broke it. It was so embarrassing. I walk over to throw it away, and Coach Ben from Kennesaw State is sitting right beside the garbage can, and I just had to, hey, Coach.
I will tell you this, Dre. I've been knowing you for a while, but there's a different Dre coaching than there's a Dre that I know every other time.
For sure. We want it for these players, and we give them the extra leeway to develop. Like you said, Coach, I'm going to put kids in pick and roll situations who don't get that from their other teams. I have kids that, like you said, play power forward on their team, and I'm having them bring the ball up and play. It's our job to develop so that you can take those skills that we develop and you can take advantage of them as a high school coach for something they were able to do.
And it's why, at least for me, I can't speak for every college coach. I think right now it's so great because we can go watch them in April with their AAU program, but then I can watch them in June with their high school program, right? And see the difference, and then go back and watch them in July with their AAU program. So what have they learned from April, June with their high school program to July, and then in September, whether it's in showcases or workouts with their high school, I'm able to see even more up until they even get to their season. So that's why this June time that the NCAA opened up for high school team camps, I think was very beneficial because we had, as college coaches, and I've been, like I said, at Division I level and even now at Voorhees, like we were getting away from seeing guys so much at their high school, right? And I think you got to see them in every aspect to truly understand if we're going to do a great job of getting the right kind of guys for our program, RKGs as we call them, the right kind of guys. You got to see them in every aspect of what we're trying to do. If not, you're going to miss out on something, and we now become part of the problem why there's so many guys in the transfer portal because we didn't do our due diligence. And it's not. And I want to, before we close, I want to talk about this transfer portal just a little bit, Dre. Like,
for sure.
We've got high school players. A lot of people think it's hurting high school players, and it is. It is hurting high school players, but in turn, it's helping them if they want an opportunity other than D1, right? So let's understand that it's helping and hurting high school players. But when you get numbers that we've seen where right now only about 40%, 45% of the transfers have gotten picked up. So now it's not just players who don't like their situation. It is us as coaches telling players you're not a right fit for whatever reason. Players getting bad advice, whatever the case may be, right? But it's also hurting young men who maybe are just looking for an opportunity to play a grad transfer year, right? Because there may not be somebody who a coach may not want a one-year player. So I just think we've got to be better as coaches. I can only speak to the coaches part. I can't speak to the players and parents and trainers and all that. As coaches, we've got to be better, and we've got to do more due diligence and building these relationships and being upfront and honest with guys that we are recruiting that eventually commit and sign to our teams of what their role are, what we believe they can do, and go from there. And understand that it could change in a year. That because of this new portal, that we may be filling a new team every year, whether we like it or not. And so instead of us complaining about it, we've got to adjust. We've got to adjust to this new game of the transfer portal. And I think the more and more we get the right kind of guys who understand what we believe in our program and they understand their roles, then maybe at least for whoever's particular team, you don't have so many guys in the transfer portal. You're not trying to find a whole team.
Very true. And I'll just leave this nugget for parents and players. Coach is right. It doesn't impact where you finish. It only impacts where you start. And the kids that I see that are successful are the kids that are just focused on getting an opportunity and getting better. The kids that are distracted by all the other stuff, one of the worst things a kid can do is say, I'm gonna go and take this offer and I'm gonna be here for 1 year and then I'm gonna leave. You don't know how long you're gonna be there. How long is it gonna take you to learn everything that you need to learn to get to the next level? I think the kids that are focused on going to school, getting an opportunity, and working hard and getting better every day, those kids are ending up with other opportunities that they may not have if they didn't have that attitude.
And in closing, you got to have a sense of gratitude because there's somebody else out there that wants to be in your spot.
Absolutely.
Whether you're playing Division I or Division or NAI or Division
Yep.
II or Division III or JUCO or prep school, you can only imagine how many DMs, emails Coach Jay and I get on a daily basis about somebody who just wants an opportunity.
Famous words. I just want to hoop.
Coach, give me a chance.
Yep.
So be grateful for that opportunity that you have, that someone thought enough of you and your game, no matter what level it is, to allow you to play at least one more season. What are you going to do with that one more season? What are you going to do with it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's a great place to leave it. Guys, we appreciate you tuning in. This was episode 28 of Voorhees Tiger Vision with head coach Cabral Huff. Can't wait to spend more time with you guys. We still got a lot of great news coming out throughout the summer, so definitely stay tuned. This will be your place to get updates on the summer explosion and the impact and the who's who and who played well and who didn't. Coach Huff may not be able to talk about players so much, but I can. I'll tell you who got busy. We saw some great players last year. So you guys stay tuned and stay locked in with us. This is Voorhees Tiger Vision, and we are out.